Let's just be clear. I'm a sucker for heist movies. They don't even have to be good and I'll still like them. And I like most of the actors in this one, so I expected it to at least be decent. I heard some mixed reviews, not gonna lie, but I usually want to make up my own mind. Now for some context, I was in my early teens when Soderbergh's Ocean's 11 came out. I love that thing. I watched it over and over and over. It's probably one of the movies I've seen the most times in my life. The script is brilliant, the cast is perfect, the pacing is spot on. It's easily my favorite heist movie of all time. So when I heard they were making an all-female sort of remake, reboot, sequel thing, I already knew it wouldn't be better than Soderbergh's. It almost certainly wouldn't be as good either, but I saw no reason why it would need to be a disaster. For the record, I thought Ghostbusters 2016 was a mildly entertaining film. It wasn't good, but I also didn't grow up watching the original over and over, so I didn't have that same attachment. But now we have this movie, here to prove once and for all that women can be criminals too. And the opening scene did not make a good impression. They basically ripped off the Soderbergh movie beat for beat. I didn't like that. But then, the post-release sequence where Sandra Bullock is in her natural environment was actually really good. At that point, I figured they weren't going to make a direct remake, and that's very good. I mean, there's a lot of similarities. You can't watch this movie and then Soderbergh's and say, oh, this is the same movie. They're different enough, I appreciate that. This one's also visually pretty different. The cinematography is really good. They went for a kind of glitzy, sleek look. It fit the theme very well. There's a few little shots here and there though that look like they weren't even lit. They looked like stock footage or something, really strange. But overall, I like the look of the movie. That being said, here's my problem. This movie didn't need to exist, and it definitely didn't need the Oceans connection. If you're out to prove that women can carry movies and want to hire more women, that's fine. I fully support that. Make a heist movie with women, but calling it Ocean's 8 is banking on a brand established by men. Isn't that counterproductive to what you're doing? And I would want to see a heist movie with Sandra Bullock, Anne Hathaway and Cate Blanchett. That's selling point enough for me. And if you're telling me that those names aren't bankable enough to carry the movie without the Oceans brand, you're essentially telling me women can't move tickets. See the problem here? Take the same script, change it enough so there's no Oceans connection, cut a few characters, don't try to mimic the Soderbergh movie, and you'll have a movie that stands on its own. Because this will inevitably be compared to that movie, and it can't possibly be as good, and it isn't. In fact, I don't think this does anything better or even as well as Soderbergh's movie. The acting is fine, but some of it isn't that good. Rihanna is okay at best. Mindy What's-Her-Face is sorta just there. Sandra Bullock is good, seen her do better. Cate Blanchett, who happens to be one of my favorite actors working today, is miscast and underutilized. Anne Hathaway is decent, seen her do better too. And then we get to the ones that seemed like they actually wanted to be there and actually cared. These two actually tried. Helena Bonham Carter was good. She had fun with it, I liked her a lot. But the biggest surprise was definitely Awkwafina. I hadn't even heard about her before this movie. But apparently she's a rapper, so I wasn't expecting that much. But she turned out to be one of my favorites. She was really, really good. But that only makes 7. So who did I forget? I don't have anyone else in my notes either. Sarah Paulson? Oops. I literally had to go on IMDb and check the cast. And she actually got a lot of screen time. They even gave her a bit of backstory. But for the life of me, I could not remember her. Apparently she didn't even make enough of an impression on me for me to put her in the notes. I guess it goes to show that your characters need character, not just a job to do. Because she just wasn't memorable in any way. And that's not her fault. It was 100% the writing. I mean, the characters just aren't as distinct or well defined as in Ocean's 11. The writing's not as sharp, dialogue isn't as witty, the plot isn't as gripping, the pacing isn't as tight, And another issue is that Blanchett and Bullock do not have the same chemistry as Brad Pitt and George Clooney. And how could they? That's movie magic right there. So they shouldn't have tried to imitate that. They should have done something else. And to be perfectly honest, I found most of the movie to be pretty dull. I wasn't bored exactly, I just didn't really care. I love heist movies, and I really didn't care about this heist. That's a pretty big issue. And then the heist is over and the investigation starts. And the investigator is James Corden, who I'm not a big fan of. But guess what? He is fantastic. Easily the funniest part of this movie. And then the pacing picked up too. And out of nowhere, I'm actually enjoying the movie a lot. I mean, the last 20-30 minutes were great. The last part completely saved the movie. Everything was snappier, tighter, more engaging. I love that last part. Now, do I feel bad about saying the best part of a female-centric movie was when the guy stepped in? Yes. Is it true though? Yeah. Now, to the movie's credit, it wasn't just James Corden that made it good. Everything was just done better. Now, is it an issue that the post-heist investigation is better and more engaging than the actual heist? In a heist movie? Absolutely. But it saved the movie from being completely forgettable, so there's that. I do need to mention there's some Ocean's 11 tie-ins and cameos, and I was not a fan of that. Especially the photo of Clooney felt really awkward. Like, yikes awkward. Overall, it's kind of hard to sum it up. It's a well-made movie, but most of it wasn't that engaging. However, the last half hour made the whole thing worth it, so would I recommend it? Kinda. Sure. Why not? So go watch it, I guess. Or don't. I'm not your dad.